My mother is a narcissist, and the tattoo on my left arm is hiding the pain of the self-harm her narcissistic ways impacted my life. Beneath the inked petals and delicate lines lies a history etched in scars. Scars that tell a story of a little girl who was never enough. "Why can't you be more like me or your sisters?" she'd sneer, her eyes sharp, her disappointment palpable. Her criticism was constant, a steady drip that eroded my confidence, my identity, my worth. Nothing I did was ever good enough. No achievement was worth celebrating, no failure worth forgiving. Perfection was the expectation, but the rules kept changing. I tried so hard to be who she wanted me to be. I silenced my laughter when it annoyed her, swallowed my tears when she told me to toughen up. I became a chameleon, adapting to her moods, anticipating her needs, sacrificing myself for the scraps of affection she occasionally tossed my way. But love felt like a transaction. I became obsessed with being enough. Enough to be seen, enough to be loved. I starved myself, believing that if I could just be thinner, she might finally approve. Every meal was a battle between hunger and hope, a cruel negotiation with my reflection. I watched the numbers drop on the scale, but her gaze never softened. Her approval was always just out of reach, no matter how small I became. When the hunger wasn't enough to numb the pain, I turned to self-harm. The sting of a blade was a relief, a distraction from the wounds she left on my heart. I hid the scars beneath long sleeves, ashamed of my weakness, convinced that even my pain was inadequate. I lost myself in that cycle of self-destruction. I became a ghost in my own life, haunted by her voice, by her impossible standards. Every reflection was a reminder that I was never enough, never worthy, never lovable. It took years for me to see it, to see her, to understand that her cruelty was not a reflection of my worth, but of her own emptiness. Her narcissism demanded adoration, demanded that I remain small so she could feel big. She needed to be the hero of every story, and I was merely a prop, an accessory to her narrative. Acknowledging this didn't heal me overnight. It shattered me, forcing me to confront the years of pain I had buried. But from that brokenness, I began to rebuild. Recovery wasn't easy. I battled the urge to self-harm, fought the whispers of inadequacy that echoed in my mind. But slowly, painfully, I began to heal. I learned to see myself not through her critical eyes but through my own. I learned to love the broken parts of me, the scars that told my story. The tattoo came later, a beautiful design of a mask that is also a shield, vibrant and alive, covering the marks of my pain, reminding me that once I was taken by chaos, but not anymore. But there are subtle fractures running through the mask, small, almost invisible to anyone who isn't looking closely. These cracks aren't weaknesses, they're reminders. Through them, faint shadows twist and curl, echoes of a past that was dark and heavy, a story that once weighed on you but doesn't define you anymore. It's there, buried and covered, safely hidden behind the beauty you chose to create. My mother is a narcissist, and she wounded me deeply. Her words left scars that no one could see, and her actions drove me to harm myself in ways she never knew. But she did not break me. I found strength in my survival, courage in my healing. I built myself from the ruins of her expectations, forged an identity separate from her shadow. I chose to live, to fight, to reclaim my life. I chose to cover my scars not because I was ashamed, but because I was ready to write a new chapter. I chose to love myself, even when she couldn't. My mother is a narcissist, but I am more than her words, more than her cruelty, more than her control. I am enough just as I am. And the tattoo on my arm is a reminder that I am still here, that I am still fighting, that I am still growing, beautiful, resilient, and free.